Hello, friends. I'm Laura, and welcome to Soulful Sundays. Today I am Bible journaling in 1 Kings chapter 8, and this is verse 23. O Lord, God of Israel, there is no God like you in heaven above or on earth beneath, keeping covenant and showing steadfast love to your servants who walk before you with all their heart. And I am loving this verse. I have been wanting to do some Bible journaling pages following the inspiration of the song Waymaker by Leland and the nouns that they call God in that song, which is Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper, Light in the Darkness. And so I managed to do Promise Keeper today because, of course, in this verse, they are talking about how God is keeping covenant, and covenant was the contract or agreement that he had with the people. So that is him keeping the promises that he made and showing steadfast love and all of the wonderful, wonderful things that God does for us and the wonderful things that he is. So I start this page knowing that my title is going to be Promise Keeper, and I wanted to use up some florals here. I have so many packs of floral die cuts, and my stash is kind of overwhelming me, and I find it hard to use the Paige Evans ones because as much as I love them, they're really bright, and usually my style tends to be more muted. And so what I am doing now is trying to work these things into every project that I make so I can get them out of my stash. I didn't want to just give them away because I bought them all not that long ago, loving them and loving all the projects people were making with them. But again, it's one of those things you don't know until after you buy it and you realize, this is beautiful when everybody else uses it, but it's not quite my style. And so one of the things I'm going to do to help make it my style is that I cut the white border off of some of the flowers. I do leave it on one of the pink ones, but other than that, there's no like white border around the flowers on this page. And then another thing that I do is I try to do a good mix of like the pastel, more muted colored flowers and the bright ones. So I try to even it out so that way it's not all the bright colored flowers. And as you can see on my desk, I had a lot of the bright ones to choose from, but since I was already doing the bright orange and pink colors, I didn't want to add red or dark blue or any of the other really saturated colors. So I'm sticking to pink and orange as my bright colors, and then everything else is kind of gonna play it down a little bit. So I'm doing that, and I thought about painting the margin of my Bible here, something light and pastel-y, maybe like a beige or a light pink, but I end up just keeping it the way that it is, that natural cream color of the paper, because again, with the brightness of these flowers, I didn't really want to add too much more to the page because then it would have too much going on for my own personal style. And you can see here I am using a glue pen to glue down a lot of these elements, and this is a new fun little toy I got at a local scrapbook store, and I love it. It's pretty cool, although I think it wrote really good when I first pulled it out of the package, and then every time I used it thereafter, it was kind of hard to get the glue out. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. You kind of have to dab it down like a paint stick or a paint marker in order for the glue to come down to the tip of it. So I do that with most of my flowers, and then when I start layering up some of these flowers on top of the other ones, I am going to use a thicker glue, and I'm dipping my flowers in it, and that's going to be especially helpful for the flowers that are going on top of the other flowers. So there's so many layers underneath of them of the other flowers, and then of course even below that there's the actual scrapbooking page, and I knew that the marker was not going to give me a thick enough layer of glue for some of those florals to attach to all of the different layers underneath of them. So I do use the thicker glue for that. And then I'm just trying to even out my page here. I had an orange and a light purple flower up at the top, and I loved that, but it still felt like it wasn't quite balanced with the rest of the page. And so I take some of these light green leaves and I cut them apart, and I'm going to add that to the top of the page, and that's going to bring in that light green color that's in the bottom part of the page there, right in the corner. And I like how that brings both colors to the top and the bottom and helps balance out the top and the bottom with both of them having that pastel color in there along with the other more saturated, brighter colors. I highlighted my verse with a warm gray marker and then underlined it with my glitter gel pen, and I am writing out my title right here, and it is going to say Promise Keeper. Of course, I realize after starting that I don't have enough E's for this title, but that's okay. You'll see that I take a C and use that as one of my E's, and then I'm going to cut apart a J to be the dash after promise and to turn that C into an E by just adding an extra little bit to it. I do this with a lot of my titles, especially in Bible journaling, because Bible journaling is more personal and more about me and God and our relationship together and less about other people seeing it. I really like using this technique in my Bible, whereas on a lot of scrapbooking layouts, I try not to piece together alphabets unless I have to, simply because it's kind of like an obvious thing sometimes and it's hard to see on camera, but when you look at it in person, you can tell that one of the E's is different from the other ones and that it was kind of pieced together from other alphabets. And so I like doing that in my Bible because, again, it's just more personal and not really about other people flipping through it at all. So that's what I am doing. And after my glue dries, you can see that I go ahead and I cut off all the parts of the flowers that hung over the edges of the page. And I just use that same rose gold gel pen or copper gel pen to write lover in the title and add some hearts all over my page, and they're nice and shiny, and I love that about this gel pen. You can see when I move my page around, it catches the light that ink does and reflects it back, and that's so beautiful. I added the word lover up there because part of this verse is showing steadfast love to his servants. So altogether, my journaling reads, My God, lover, promise keeper, there's no one like you. And I just love that so much because there really is no one who can love like him, who can keep a promise like him. And that is part of the beauty of him and our relationship with him, and that we can always rely on him to love us and be there for us, and it is such a beautiful thing. So I managed to use up a good amount of floral die cuts on this page, and I love how it turned out. It's a simple one, but I'm wanting to do more journaling about the covenant, so I think I might actually jump into my war binder after this and do some more journaling about this verse. I hope you have enjoyed Bible journaling with me on this Sunday evening, and I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead of you. Bye.